Welcome to the Resident Evil i-Junket Roundtable. Thank you all for joining us. Please start sending your questions now. We're here with actress Michelle Rodriguez. Michelle, how good at the video games are you, and which ones are you best at?
Well, of course, I'm not as good as the techie geeks who play online, but I've got some skills. Tekken, Dead Alive, Street Fighter. I've basically been playing since ColecoVision and Atari, so I go way back. Yeah, but my favorite games are the role-playing ones and the fighting games. I'm not much of a sportsy or Mario Brothers or Zelda kind of girl. I hate the fluffy kind of cartoony video games. They're boring to me.
Which ones are you hooked on right now?
Right now, I'm pretty hooked on the Xbox and the P2. I love Max Payne, Grand Theft Auto. Dead Alive is pretty kick-ass. Just the fact that you could just, like, kick somebody out a window and then they fall a couple stories down and they're still alive so you can kick them some more is kind of exciting to me.
Nothing's more fun than kicking them when they're virtually down.
Oh, definitely. I get off on those games.
Has the online Resident Evil community been a large help or hindrance towards the creation of the movie?
I think definitely so, because then the Hollywood world kind of has more input as of to how successful it's going to be. People don't like taking too many chances, you know. They're getting older up there, you know, those guys who are making those decisions, and they kind of want to assure their grandchildren a nice little, I guess, what do they call it when you donate what you got after you're dead? You know what I mean. They just want to make sure they get their money back, and I think the people online kind of help to make sure that they get what they want as well, because you have so many different websites and so many details to getting what the audience would want. I definitely think that the majority of the people that are going to go see Resident Evil are going to be the fans, and the fans do not want to be disappointed when, you know, they go to see the movie and it's just, even a prequel just has to have the video game essence to it, and if it doesn't, people are going to be incredibly disappointed. And I know what you're talking about, because I've seen lots of, you know, mistakes being made when it comes to video games being adapted into films, and I think Paul Anderson won't disappoint you when it comes to that, you know, so it's kind of cool.
What was it like doing a relatively small film like Girl Fight and then going into something as complicated and as large as Resident Evil?
Great. I was loving every second of it, especially because of the fact that, you know, they had so little money to do it with, and I'm in a place like Berlin filled with so many techies and just geeks that could put it all together so magnificently and accurate and fiercely with such pennies. You know, it was intriguing to see how they did this all. You know, you just have to be there, like, and see. Richard Ursich, man, Space Odyssey. Man, you know, we were working with some good people, man, you know? And then those guys making the puppets, the machinery. I found out that for $30,000, I could have my own electric pet dinosaur. Full on, details and everything, you know what I mean? That's pretty awesome. He can fly, too. Can you believe that? $30,000, I could have a flying little dinosaur in my room.
Would you go for it?
Can't learn that anywhere else, but on the set of Resident Evil, go figure.
Oh, would you like buy one?
I would definitely buy one, that's for sure.
Are you concerned that you might be stuck in tough girl roles like Girl Fight and Resident Evil?
That fear only comes because of the fact that, you know, it's just the majority of the people in this industry is like, what you see is what you get, you're as good as your last flick, you know, kind of deal. So there's a lot of ignorant kind of people, you know, in this industry, but I don't want to work with ignorant kind of people all the time, you know, so. As far as action roles go, I think I'll be pretty satisfied with the tough girl thing and the stereotype of it. But as far as drama goes, you know, I'm not worried because, you know, I think that real directors, you know what I mean, can see past the bullshit, if you understand where I'm coming from. And those are the kind of directors dramatically that I like to work with anyway. The stereotype kind of works when it comes to action films, because I definitely don't want to play the vulnerable one and get saved or captured by doing something incredibly stupid that the whole audience is saying not to do. So it's kind of cool to have the stereotype around when it comes to these action films. I'm pretty good where I stand, you know? I'm confident in where I'm going.
The question here is, have you ever played Resident Evil games? We know that to be true. What is it about the games that you like? What kept you coming back? You said you were bored of it by the time you got to actually got the role.
Yeah, I was, you know, just, you know, I mean, you get bored of everything, but the thing that captured me about Resident Evil, the video game, is the surrealness of it. The fact that that the character, you know, Claire Redfield and Chris, they're so vulnerable in the beginning, you know? And, you know, they can easily die, and I think that makes you relate more to the character. And when you're playing this video game, it's so quiet and subtle and Hitchcock-like, you know? All you hear are footsteps and squeaking of doors, and then that pausing moment when you're walking up the stairs, although it is very annoying when you have to go back and up and down, you know what I mean? Trying to figure things out without dying or getting caught by zombies is pretty annoying, but it's just the weight. The whole suspense of it. It captures suspense so well. You will always drop your controller playing this game. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't played one Resident Evil game that hasn't scared the crap out of me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I might get bored, you know, sometimes when I'm frustrated in the middle of the game and I've already been in every door and I'm just trying to figure out what's next because I'm stuck. But when I get to that point where I figured it out, I will always, you know what I mean, be excited about the game. So to see that come to life in a movie it's bliss.
And to be part of it, too.
Oh, yeah, you're part of it. That's the whole thing. It's like, you know, that's what people are getting in Hollywood now, you know, is that there's nothing, you know, films can only do so much for the audience, you know what I mean? As far as the audience relating to the characters. When you play a video game, you are that character. And when you go to the movies, you expect to see yourself come to life. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of adapting video games into films. And that, if it's captured well and done accurately with full detail, will take people on rides that can make money for years and years to come. So that's something that I hope that people keep in mind is the fact that it has to be done right, or you're just gonna get a Mario Brothers, and that's not a good thing. I hope I'm not dissing anybody, but you know what I mean. It has to be done right.
As the director, do you think that was a goal of Paul Anderson's?
Definitely so. The guy's an overgrown kid. I mean, and he's a video game geek, and I think that there's no better person to make a video game into a movie than him. You know, he is the audience that these kind of movies are going to go to. And he knows what'll make them spill their popcorn or pee in their pants. And I think that that's incredibly important when you're making exciting kind of films. You just need to keep that MTV ADD thing going on, or you're a loser.
So you feel that Paul Anderson had a real love for the Resident Evil mythology?
Definitely so. Without it, the film I don't think would work, and I think it is going to work because of the fact that that's not the case. So.
Would you call yourself a horror movie fan?
Yeah, I'm a fan of all kinds of films. You know, as long as they're exciting in some way, shape, or form. Whether I'm crying or I'm laughing or I'm jumping out of my chair. I'm definitely Chainsaw Massacre down, and I'm definitely part one of every Jason, and I'm definitely into the Psychos and the Hitchcock films, and yeah, I guess you could say I'm a horror freak.
Actors and actresses frequently say that they learn a lot from making movies. What did you learn from starring in Resident Evil?
Too much. I learned too much. Too much information for my tiny little brain. Oh, man, you would think, that being part of this film would just, you wouldn't learn much. But, God, I learned too much. It's because of the technical stuff that it involves, just because of the makeup, just because of the, damn man, engineering is a big part of this. Like, you know, to take scraps of metal, computer chips, and turn it into a liquor is not an easy task. And with pennies to do that is a miracle. And these guys from London, man, they pulled that shit together like no tomorrow, you know? And then that's beautiful for me to see, like, somebody control this, like, slimy 7-foot-tall creature with a button. That is fierce, you know what I mean? Richard Urasich taking, simple drawings and then putting that together into a computer and mapping that out into film, making the liquor move 6 seconds, okay, of what you see actually took tons of people 6,000 man-hours to create. That's a lot of X's and O's and lots of time drinking coffee nervously in front of your computer screen. One little mix-up and you flop the whole thing. These are pros, you know what I mean? And that takes a lot of know-how. And the cinematography and the details and the guys in props who, like, created all this futuristic kind of injections and all of the scientists' little vials, all that stuff, even though it was just soap and, like, glass. It takes a lot of know-how, you know what I mean, to make it look so real and fierce. I mean, I learned a lot about just the technicalities of it all. It's just amazing. You know, I also met a lot of really great people that I hope to work with in the future when I, do my own thing. It's just fierce to see it all come to life, you know? You have so much stuff in your head and so many dreams, of, like, psychotic science fiction type stuff that you would never think that you would ever be able to see with your own eyes come to life. And it's beautiful when you watch these guys work it and make it come to life. I mean, that's an experience that I'll take with me, I think, forever. So it's the bomb.
The next question raises 2 points that you've already mentioned. One is that the thing you liked about the video game Resident Evil was the quiet and the relation to Hitchcock films, the suspense that has. And secondly, you just mentioned how many different people have to come together to work on a film to make it a success in the end. Regarding the soundtrack, obviously a very important component with regards to a film.
Right.
Do you think that like Slipknot and Marilyn Manson work well with Resident Evil as far as the quiet? Is it placed appropriately? Do you think it works with the film?
That's my personal taste. That's my personal taste. Middle America might not agree with me. You know what I mean? So that's who we have to satisfy, are those young men and older techie geeks who just need to be entertained every 5 seconds or they get bored. And I think the perfect way to do that is to use the MTV ADD formula. And it might not be, what I preferred about the video game, but it's definitely what I think will work with the film itself and attracting the people and the numbers that we need. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's lots of formulas that people use to, make things work in Hollywood.
Somewhere between atmosphere and marketing.
Right.
And what are you listening to yourself these days?
Everything, man. Everything I can get my hands on that's good. I don't know. I've been very, like, classical music oriented lately. I've just been, I guess because I just recently, you do so much press all the time and stuff, so you really just don't think too much. So I've been just, like, trying to calm down and soothe myself with some old classical kind of stuff. But when I get bored of that, it's all, like, hip-hop, grunge, and, like, techno. When I party, that's the scene I'm into.
What was the atmosphere like on the set, given the intensity of the movie?
There's a lot of goofing off going on. We were definitely having lots of fun. I mean, just knowing that you're not in danger, like you are in the film, it kind of opens up a new array of colors and just a lot more goofing off than if it were real. You know what I mean? So it's kind of great. You know, whenever they said cut, we were definitely sinking our teeth into silicone-made livers and playing with the blood and goofing off with the guns and the bullets, and it was a good experience. It was lots of fun.
What sort of weapons were available to your character Rain in Resident Evil?
Man, there were so many weapons on set that I wanted to use, man. So many. But you know, there's just too many details that are involved in filmmaking. You can't always do what you want. But yeah, I had a nice little machine gun and a governor, which, by the way, is the gun that was used a couple of years ago, you know, protecting Reagan. Didn't work so well, but it's still a nice 9mm with 2 safeties that I got to learn a lot about. Nice, easy, swift, easy to pull out clip. Lots of tricks to it. Can easily clamp this right here could easily disappear if you don't know how to use that gun properly. And I was actually shooting it for real with real bullets in the range. Got to shoot a .45 too, but I think the only 2 guns that she was using was, like, I think she had a P99 at one point. It ran out of bullets, and she had a nice machine gun, a compact one, and a governor. That's about all I got to use, and a knife, a nice Rambo knife that I only got to peel my nails with.
Do you find it odd to be interviewed by a bunch of reporters who aren't in the room with you?
Sometimes I feel, you know, yeah, it is kind of strange. I feel like a bunch of aliens, you know, are interrogating me. But I get used to it after a while. It's just different audiences, you know, that it's kind of cool that so many people even give a shit what I have to say.
This being your 3rd consecutive role as a headstrong, feisty, physically tough heroine, do you worry about being typecast?
I just don't care at this point, you know? It's just like, if I am going to be typecast, it'll be by the narrow-minded kind of like Hollywood scene, and I don't really mind so much because they're typecasting me as the tough chick, and I wouldn't want to play the vulnerable chick in Hollywood films, because the only thing that's really interesting me right now in the Hollywood genre is action. And I do not want to be the one who's being captured or saved by some guy, you know, in a film. So that's... In the other realms, it's just like the directors, I think, you know, should be smart enough to know my array of colors, and if they can't see past that, then I don't want to be working with them anyway, so I really just don't mind.
What do you think about the initial buzz comparing your character, Rain, with that of Vasquez from Aliens?
Takes a lot longer to kill someone like me.
How do you think the movie would have been different had George Romero stayed on board?
It would have been a lot quieter. It would have been a lot quieter, and there's something I really enjoyed about the teeth thing. He has this thing that he's able to do with where you just feel like screeching boards, and he has this ability with sensory that's really amazing. A lot of things would have changed. I mean, you know, we're trying to satisfy you know, middle America, and I think Paul really, you know, he's about the audience, you know, and like the audience in the United States is used to a certain kind of thing, and it takes a while to kind of get people off of that. We are the ones that spoon feed middle America what they eat, and I just don't think they're ready for something, you know, being brought back. So right now, I just don't. He would have changed a lot. I think it would definitely have been a lot quieter, and that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Yeah, a lot of things about the film would have changed, but you know, I think Paul is really going to satisfy those people that want to see this film. So it's all good.
One of the things I read in the press was that the director was trying to stay true to the suspense that you discuss with the film, which I think would be something that he would have in common with George Romero, because something like Night of the Living Dead was all based on suspense. Do you think he balances that well?
Yeah, I think he had a pretty good balance there. It's the detail. It's just the fact that, you know, that he kept in mind, you know, what scares people, and it's not knowing what's ahead. And I think the audience will not know, you know what I mean, what's going to happen next. And that's something that Romero was really good at. And I think that that's something that Paul Anderson and Romero, I think, have in common. But as far as, like, you know, the style of things, you know, a lot of things, yeah, definitely change. Like I said, you know, we're trying to satisfy a different genre of an audience here. And in order to do that, a lot of things, I think, of classical horror films have to be changed. The technology makes up for that so well. It's not funny. So it's like in your face instead of think about it and wonder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all good. Whatever, you know, is lacking is made up for in a good way. So.
Do you think there was more of an emphasis on pleasing longtime game fans, or, like you said, the middle American audience who maybe might not be all familiar with it, or is just looking to go and get scared in the theaters?
50-50, buddy. 50-50. 50% is for the game players, and the other 50 is for those horror film fans that have been waiting for a rated R, gore-infested film. So that's the beauty of Paul Anderson. He got that off. Yeah.
You went from a relatively small film like Girl Fight and then went into something huge like Fast and the Furious.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the obvious amount of money involved, what strikes you as being the biggest difference between independent and corporate film?
I would have said the passion if I hadn't worked on Resident Evil. There are a lot of differences. There's more people dedicated to making the movie. There's a lot more politics, I think, involved in studio films. You know, you're trying to satisfy more people in studio films. And in independent films, you are just trying to satisfy the art, you know? And you're trying to satisfy your view of things. It's more personal, I think, when you're working on an independent film. You really just don't care how the audience is going to react. And in Hollywood films, you have to care. You know what I mean? Or you're just not making the movie because they're not giving you the money for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty great. I'm so glad that I get to work with both, because there is a balance somewhere in between, and God knows I'm going to find it.
Is there one you prefer over the other at the moment?
What do you mean, in between
Corporate and independent film.
corporate and independent films? I don't prefer either. You know, in independent films, I'm always pissed because there's lack of money, you know? And in Hollywood films, you know, I'm pissed because there's lack of substance sometimes, or, you know, lack of individuality, you know? Either way, I'm pissed off. But like I said before, I'm definitely, I think I have pretty great confidence in the fact that I'm going to find the balance in between both someday. So I have that hope still alive.
How does it feel to be an action hero to kids?
That's cool, man. God knows I need kids in my life, you know? I'm such a mature audience kind of girl, you know what I mean? And when I get little rugrats coming along, you know, kind of saying what's up to me and really happy and shiny faces, kind of, it scares the hell out of me. Because, you know, I do so many adult-like things, and I say so many curses all the time, and I'm so kind of real sometimes that I'm kind of scared that some kids might be influenced by that. But it kind of makes me happy in my neighborhood because, you know, I don't know. They just bring a light into my life, you know? They make me feel good and remember what ignorance is like. You know, how happy we are when we don't know. So I like it. I love it. It's great. I don't think I'm going to be doing any nude scenes, you know, or anything that's going to, like, scare them off. So I'm happy for now. It's all good. As long as they don't look at the tabloids.
Would you recommend Resident Evil to kids?
Don't say that to me, man. It's a rated R movie. What are you trying to do to me?
Well, they come
God,
into
you know the kids are going to sneak in there, and the liberal parents are going to let them see it, you know? I mean, Europe, for Christ's sake, they see nudity at like 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all about where you are. I think those kids in Europe, you know, are doing really well, you know, being being exposed to, so much at such a young age. But I don't think that really works well here in the States, being that we kind of like use sex and violence as our, key things on rated R films. I don't really suggest it for kids, but I know they're going to watch it anyway. Have fun.
Hope it gives you nightmares. You'll learn.
Yeah, you know that one kid is gonna, go to school. I saw Resident Evil last night, and all the other kids, with the good parents are gonna be like pissed off, all like trying to sneak it in, But yeah, I mean, kids are kids. It's whatever.
And that one kid's gonna be the one coming to class getting F's on his test because he's not sleeping.
Right. Definitely, it's definitely a no sleeper for kids, that's for sure. This will do what The Exorcist did to me when I was a kid.
Wow, that's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being a main character in the main adaptation, in the movie adaptation of one of the best-selling video games of all time?
How does it feel? What do you think it feels like? It
Exactly.
feels good. Yeah, man. I think it feels good. You really think that? Of all time? That's
Isn't it?
So
I mean,
great.
among the three, it's sold over, 16 million units?
Nice.
That's not bad.
That's fierce.
All the three of them.
That's great.
Milla mentioned that there were already thoughts about a Resident Evil sequel. Have you heard anything about a story
I thought
popping
that
up for
this was a prequel. So prequels usually lead to sequels, don't
That
they?
implies, yeah. She mentioned that, Milla mentioned that you set up the plot line for Nemesis in the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think definitely so. At the end of this movie, you will definitely be drooling for more. That's for sure.
Well, I'm hooked.
I love the end, actually. I like the way that it's good. It's good, yeah. It's definitely setting up for something.
Are there any similarities between you and Rain?
There's definitely a little Rain in me. I know if chaos came to chaos, and I had to defend myself to the point where, I found myself in some armory somewhere, and I had all these guns to work with. Yeah, I'd turn into Rain in a second, that's for sure. Like if, God knows what can happen. Nowadays, it's so unpredictable. You don't know, you know what I mean? I definitely am one of those that played D&D when she was younger, and I definitely have a master plan if total chaos hit my town in Jersey City. Got an armory a couple of blocks from my house that I'd like to infiltrate. I'm ready, yeah. That's for sure. I got a little Rain in me.
Sweet. Who is your favorite action hero?
Favorite action hero? Catwoman, definitely. Action hero. As far as comic books go or video games?
That's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive. I'd have to think about that one, man. I'd have to really think about that one. But I do love the Tekken characters and the Dead Alive characters. They're really great. Just their movements, and they're pretty fierce kind of character. I'd change their wardrobe, that's for sure, but I definitely like the moves that these chicks got in these video games. They're pretty good. So it's the fighting video games I'm more into. And as far as comic books go, yeah, Catwoman's out of my league right now, but I think she's definitely really fierce. I'd love to get my hands or sink my teeth into something like that. That would be great. In the comic book, she's good. And in the movies, she's been bad. But I think she's kind of like a bad kind of good. I'd like to see that captured someday. I don't care if I'm in it. I just want to see somebody fierce kind of like work it. That'd be great.
Who was your favorite Catwoman from the old Batman show?
Eartha Kitt. Wow.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I just don't know why.
Eartha Kitt. She's so fierce with that. She got that off. Yeah, she definitely got that off.
But what's it like working with Vin Diesel?
It's good. It's definitely fun, that's for sure. That guy's got more than one character in him, that's for sure. They keep exploiting the tough man in him, but he's got so many characters. You've got to see that guy, character act. He's so good. Yeah, I like him. He's a fun guy to be around. You definitely won't have a bored moment with Vin, that's for sure.
Do you think it's easier for women to get past stereotyping rather than men? Such as you being known as the tough chick, you could probably bust out pretty easily into something else. Whereas
Bust out is a really good way of saying it. Yeah, I think it is easier for women because, well, it depends. You know what I mean? A guy can do it too. It's all about how you do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could easily just start stripping away and then I'll become feminine. You know what I mean? It's all about how much clothes you wear, really. You know? That's very easy, I think, in my eyes, to kind of come off of it, cry more often. You know, make myself look a little bit more vulnerable. You know? I don't know, it'd be kind of hard for me. I think I could pull it off, though.
Who do you think would be able to break out of the action role first, you or Vin?
Me. Yeah, I think I could pull it off first. Just because of the fact that, you know, he's been so successful at what he's doing, and, you know, he's got this body that is just so present and so fierce and powerful looking. It's kind of hard for people, I think, and directors to get past that. You know what I mean? And I think it would be easier for me just because, you know, I can pump up and slim down easily, you know? And I think people still have, no matter how they see Vin, they will still have that image of him, you know, that is so just, like, overpowering. So to kind of, like, trim that down, I think will be kind of hard, you know? Even for him, he's been so used to it for so long, I would assume, you know? He could do it. It would just take a lot longer, I think.
Mm-hmm. It comes down to people giving him a chance, I would think. Or, you know, anyone that, like when Stallone started first doing comedy.
Yeah, definitely. You would have to fall into the category of big in Philadelphia to like really do it, you know? But even then, you can't even compare that to Vin because it's the body, you know? That body is what blocks people from seeing the light. You know, if you hang out with the guy, you know what I mean, and get to know him, you will know that he could pull it off with a snap of a finger. But it's not too many directors, I think, in Hollywood, of course, because he's already a Hollywood actor. And it's like, you know, can see that in him. So it will be fierce. The guy who does it, I will look up to him, man. And I'll definitely be watching that movie, that's for sure.
It might be where voice acting comes in with animation, because if he's got a lot of characters, it doesn't matter how he presents himself physically.
Right? Yeah.
Let somebody else throw the body for him.
Fierce voice, too, man. Fierce voice, too.
So what do you do in your downtime?
I party. I party as much as possible. I love people. I socialize. I'm pretty into, like, exploring different types of people. I kind of like being the fly on the wall on my time off and just analyzing my surroundings. I hate watching the news and hate reading my science magazines, but I must admit I have to. It's part of my life.
How were your fight scenes? Were they tough?
No.
Which was your favorite scene to do?
Oh, my favorite scene to do. I think the closer I am to a zombie, the better. The more hands-on. When I get to touch them, I feel good. You know? Snapping necks was fun. I think those are my favorite, you know? When I get my hands on with these zombies. That's great.
Would you have wanted to play one of the zombies?
Depends.
An uncredited role in the next one?
It would have to be kind of like, it would definitely have to be a fierce thing. The zombie would have to have something different from the rest of them. Like, I was kind of telling Mom, it would be great, you know, if, you know, I don't know, maybe the antivirus was given so late to somebody that it actually had kind of some sort of awareness effect on the person, where they remained a zombie but just had more of their brain to work with. So that would be kind of interesting to kind of explore. Is somebody getting the antivirus too late to transform them back into a human, but yet kind of give them more of an awareness than just hunger and wanting to eat. More of a humanistic quality to a zombie. That would be kind of great to explore. But, you know, it's just too many details, you know what I mean?
That's Wile E. Coyote, basically.
Well, you never know. It depends how it's done, you know.
Super genius.
Yeah.
How was Berlin? Did you ever get a chance to see much about the city?
Berlin was sick. I freaking love that place, man. You get to smoke a J naked in the park. You get to hang out in places like the Kit Kat Club, and just people are just so much respectful. You try something like that in Central Park, man, and they'll like rape you or like wanna, you know.
And take your J.
And yeah, and they'll take your J too. It's pretty sick to see how, like, you know, just how composed and over it people in Europe can be, and I love that kind of attitude, and just how hungry they are for knowledge about the world and people, and just very open. You know what I mean? It is very intense, how German people stare at you. They look at you right in your eyes. Perfect stranger won't even know you, and he'll look at you right in your eyes. It's very. I find Germany to be a very intimidating place, but I like intimidating places. It's kind of fun. I enjoyed it.
You know, those people are fighters, no, most definitely.
That's for sure.
I get the idea that you're more about the cerebral end of horror films, but the question here is, what is your favorite gory movie?
As far as gore goes, I would say Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just the whole idea of killing during the day and houses being dark, being in the middle of nowhere, a family that used to kill cows. It's very intriguing to me. Meat, flesh, the slicing open. That's just... Yeah, that's gore at its best, I think. I think as far as gore goes, it would be Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I thought that was... I didn't see that necessarily as a gory movie. I thought that was really much more cerebral, just because the idea that these people just live there, and like halfway through it when you get... I think the woman finally makes it back to the little quickie mart thing, and that he winds up being one of them. She thinks she's saved, and she's put right back into it, and there's just absolutely no one from Miles who can help.
I got the best of both worlds out of that movie.
Yeah.
I got the best of both worlds out of that movie.
Oh, I just sat stunned.
Yeah. Definitely so.
Tell us about the next Resident Evil game. Do you know anything about it?
I played it yesterday.
Sweet!
Dude,
do you have your own copy?
I never thought that the Nintendo GameCube, you know, would be the one to take this on. Because I must admit, I really didn't like the GameCube, just because of the fluffy games. I don't like fluffy games. I'm not into Zelda or Final Fantasy kind of games, just because it's... The movie was great, but just like, the whole cartoony kind of thing is not Pokemon-looking kind of things. They're just not my games. But Resident Evil, I must admit, God, it blew me the hell away. When you first start the game, it's like, it looks like Final Fantasy. The graphics are impeccable. And when I was playing the game, and I reached the first zombie of the video game, the blood has this shimmer to it. The face, the cracks, the detail. It's just, and the scenes. There's this one scene where the zombie is in a bathroom, and you go and you have to drain the water. You know how, you know something's gonna be there. And you're draining the water out of the bathtub, and all of a sudden the zombie just creeps out of this bathtub, and you have to like kill him. The detail is so impeccable, and the sound is 10 times enhanced. I think that it's the best Resident Evil video game yet. And it's based on the first game with Barry, the guy with the mustache, and the first mansion in Raccoon City. So it's just impeccable work, incredible detail. I'm not ready to show show certain parts of my body yet. Kind of dramatic, serious roles, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the first time I bear it all, I think it has to be more mental than, you know, video. You catch my...
Right. Well, I mean, suppose they could, like, just edit that out, or, like, not have
if
it...
they could edit that out? Sure, hell
script,
yeah, I get to fight dogs and kick ass. Yeah, I'd take it on in a hot minute, man, no way. Yeah, totally.
There's some scenes where Rain is actually really cruel and rude almost, more than the guys in the movie. The question is, was it hard to play that? But something tells me no.
Yeah, I like that, if anything. Gosh. Definitely savor those moments when I get to be a likable, mean character. So it's kind of cool when I get to be bitchy, too.
Very nice, very nice. So what were your first impressions of before you even met Milla? I mean, were you familiar with her work? Did you know her at all? Did it seem strange that you're going to pair with some Russian actress? I mean, model?
I had only been in Fifth Element, and I really liked that. I thought she did a great job. I mean, it was great. It was a funky new kind of thing for me, you know, to see this, like, you know, kind of fierce female character, you know, on screen. So that was kind of cool. So I was kind of psyched to, you know, get to meet her. Although I did assume, you know, that she was going to be kind of bitchy, you know, supermodel type, you know, actress. But she turned out to be a really great kind of weird person, which I actually enjoyed. I think we complement each other because we're so different, you know. So we never bumped heads. So that's great.
Milla mentioned something about the water room, 16-hour shoot, and a plastic syringe.
Yeah. Dude, that was long. Yeah, we were in and out of water all day. Do you know that in Germany, it's 14 hours of work, and anything over that is considered overtime? Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were pulling overtime sometimes. Yeah, that day was pretty fierce. Yeah, that was a fierce scene.
So tell us about your next project.
Anything
else upcoming?
Yeah, I got a kind of like a fluffier version film that I decided to get into, you know. Lots of chaos happened when I got back home, you know, here in the States. There was lots of shit going on, and political and whatnot, and I was just too close to it. I wanted to get the hell away. I mean, I live in Jersey City, you know what I mean? Land of Arabia, I guess, right now. And I just wanted to go away and just kind of be ignorant. And I went to Hawaii to shoot a surfer film. So that was kind of fun, although I almost lost my life 3 times in the water. It's kind of exciting, kind of learning how to surf. My best times, I think, were running away from 10-foot waves, which means a 20-foot face of water flying after you, and a jet ski. Anything with a motor I'm comfortable with. Put me on a surfboard and I suck. Yeah, but it was pretty kick-ass being out there, you know? You know, I didn't have too much responsibility over there. So it was lots of just enjoying the weather and just kind of waiting to go on. It's great.
Was this another Hollywood thing or a independent thing?
This is a Hollywood film, you know, to be 3 months in Hawaii. Yeah, it's a Hollywood film.
Who else is in it?
Kate Bosworth. She was in Remember the Titans. Matt Davis, who is in that movie Blonde something.
Legally Blonde?
Yeah, so bad with names. And Sonoy Lake, who's actually a real surfer who never acted before, from Hawaii. So it was great. I mean, you still work on a film. Kate Bosworth is actually, I think, America's Next Sweetheart. She's a really, you know, just easy to be around kind of person. She doesn't bitch a lot, you know, about the work that she has to do. So it's kind of good to see that coming from, you know, like, you know, just a beautiful kind of like, you know, you would think that when you see her, that, you know, that she would be like kind of like one of those vulnerable, prissy type of chicks. But she's not. She's totally fierce. And I think that it'll be refreshing for America to see, kind of like a new thing for little girls to look up to. It's a PG-13 kind of film, so don't expect to see anything too fierce, but the water, and that water gets very dangerous. Remember I told you I risked my life 3 times.
I like it. I can laugh about it now.
Yeah, I laugh about it now. You know?
So you're a pretty good surfer?
Now I've actually learned how to get up on a shortboard, so I would say that I am close enough to becoming better. That's for sure.
So it's been pretty well established that you and Milla and Paul were all huge fans of the video game prior to.
Oh, yeah.
Who else in the cast was a big Big fan of the series.
In the cast?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they became fans, you know, once they actually played the video game. It was like, I remember Eric Mabius, like, really getting into it, you know? He started to play the game Nemesis, and he was just, like, in awe, coming up to me and, like, I didn't know, you know what I mean? It's really fierce, and that was kind of exciting to me to, like, watch these people get into it for the first time and then actually be shooting the film. In the process of getting into the video game, I must admit, it should have been like being a little kid, you know, all over again. Just making it all come to life on the screen must have been fierce for them.
Did September 11th have any impact upon the movie? Was that in your minds as you were concerned
Nothing,
about
while we were
violence or anything?
shooting, none of this had really, like, occurred. It was all the politics, but nothing had really happened, you know? As far as, like, yeah, you know, American embassies were getting, you know, bombed. I guess we should have been paying attention to that, but I shouldn't laugh about that. Yeah, it's pretty serious. But it really, we were so, like, you know, busy that, you know, the politics around us really didn't set in till we were done shooting. When we finished shooting and everybody got back home, we started calling each other and just kind of like, are you okay? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, it was a pretty tight kind of, I think, cast. And yeah, I got a lot of phone calls from Europe, you know, living in Jersey and everything when it all happened. I had to get away, you know what I mean? I really don't feel powerful enough to do anything about it at the moment. So what could I do but run away, you know what I mean? So I went to Hawaii to shoot a surf flick.
There you are.
That's all you can do. Yeah.
How do you relax after a hard day on the set? I'm guessing you don't relax a lot.
Yeah, I try to waste away my youth as much as possible. Yeah, I club a lot. I try to remain ignorant. I don't read as much as I used to. I figure, you know, now, like, the more you know, the more you want to die kind of thing. You know, it's just like so many things just seem so irreparable about the world, and I'm such a generalist. I can't get too detailed into anything. So I've stopped trying to learn, you know? Anything other than film, I've stopped trying to, like, learn more about the world because it just depresses the hell out of me. So I play the ignorant one, and ignorance is bliss kind of thing. I play video games. I, like, go out there and I club a lot. And when I feel incredibly stupid, I go back to my science magazines and I watch the news, you know, depress myself some more, and then I get over it and go party again. It's kind of like a vicious cycle for me.
Mm-hmm. How are the clubs in Berlin different than the ones in America?
Much more liberated. Sardine packed. They need a big club over there. They need a warehouse or something to kind of, everything is so small in Europe and in Germany. It's so tiny. I just need space to move, you know what I mean? I need to break out, and that's almost impossible to find over there. But it's definitely more liberated. You can go all out over there, and you don't have to worry about who's judging you, you know what I mean? I saw people, like, wandering around, like, naked in clubs over there. It's fierce. It's like, and no one disrespects you, you know what I mean? Like, people know what lines they're crossing just by looking in your eyes. You know what I mean? So it's like great. Like, you could just wander around and be the fly on the wall and actually be entertained. You don't even have to dance to have fun. So it's kind of fierce. I like the party scene over there. Although I wish you did have space to dance, because I do love to shake that ass, you know?
Maybe you could open a big warehouse of a Resident Evil club in Germany.
That would be fierce, you know? I was telling them that, man. Let's all go to the Kit Kat Club and just throw on those, like, you know, those fierce eye contacts that we have, you know, with pus inside of them and the red coming out the sides. It would be so fierce to, like, walk around like that. But nobody wanted to come with me.
Aw.
Yeah.
Milla, we're hitting the Kit Kat. Bring the liquor.
No way. She'd never step into that club. Gosh. Yeah, I tried to talk her into it. It wouldn't work.
So you liked the gore makeup.
I loved the gore makeup.
Did they ever actually let you apply some on the zombies for a shoot, or did they kind of slap your hands and say,
"Ah, Michelle, you're not pro enough. You don't know where it goes, how it goes." So, you know, I let the pros do the work, you know. You know how they did this, though? They actually had magazines and magazine cutouts of already dead people. People who had got into grave motorcycle accidents or car accidents where half of their face was ripped off, yet they were still alive to take pictures.
Say cheese.
Yeah, say cheese. And meanwhile, this guy's like jaw and all of his teeth are gone. And this is all ripped out from the nose down. And all you see are the insides of, like, his tongue still there. Like, that's how they had to feed him, with a tube, you know what I mean? And you got a picture of all this red blood dripping down. And so they had a lot to work with, you know what I mean? All they needed to do was kind of, like, mimic that with silicone and whatever they made
latex
pus
and
out of.
nylon and...
Yeah.
Do you have... What's your favorite pus recipe?
What's your favorite pus recipe? Exactly. God.
So we're about to winding down here. I wanted to ask you, for a particularly memorable club experience, where in LA would you suggest one go?
Dun, 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 dun. I don't like partying in LA.
Oh, well, we're in.
The parties here end too early.
Spoken like a New York girl.
Yeah.
Where in Jersey is good to party?
There is really, the party scene in Jersey sucks too. You have to go to the city. You have to be in New York. It's all about Exit, the Tunnel, Limelight, Lotus. You know, it's like you just gotta go sneak around, see where the nice happy hour is, and then figure out what club ends at 3, and you're set for the night and the morning. So it's pretty great. Yeah, I need time to party. I can't just sit there and smooch and look good. You know what I mean? I have to have people sweating and moving their bodies to kind of give me some enthusiasm to go
But with
throughout
enough
the
room.
night. Yeah, and room. I need room.
So break it down for me. Give me one good reason why we should go see Resident Evil.
I could give you a couple of good reasons to go watch Resident Evil. Because of the fact that I think a film. I don't think that horror movies have really. They haven't really explored the rated R gore. And I think that you'll get that here. And I don't think that you've actually had a director who's been a real fan of the old styles of doing things and old styles of creeping people out. And I also don't think that you've ever seen the creature before, like of the liquor. I'd have to say the liquor is a good reason to go and watch Resident Evil. Those couple of seconds will, I think, really be a memorable moment in your life for a while. That's for sure. Yeah.
Will we losing sleep?
I was losing sleep while shooting. I would actually dream about zombies and monsters.
Wow.
And wake up and sweat.
Even
Yeah, I mean, you're underground for so long, and you're working around these zombies for so long that you just have no choice but to kind of subliminally think about it in your sleep and have sleepless nights. But that's over now. It was a phase. Time heals all.
You do no sleep with 16-hour workdays.
16-hour workdays, sometimes 18.
Would you ever do it again?
Yes, I'd do it all over again.
As long as they gave you the biggest gun in the in the film.
Just give me a bigger gun.
There you are.
And let me use my knife this time.
And more hands-on.
More hands-on. I want more hands-on.
Give the zombies lackeys you can punch out and not be turned into a zombie by osmosis.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think that's about it, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast doing this. I want to thank everybody who participated for joining us as well. And be sure to check out Resident Evil, opening nationwide March 15th. Thanks again.